Hello and welcome back to the Lunchbox reviews. We're doing episode 5 of Hawkeye. This episode is called Ronin. As always, I'm Michelle and I am joined by Lou and
Hello.
Alex.
Hey.
And before we get into spoilers, just a quick, what did you guys think of this episode?
Go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
Wait, let me do it.
Go ahead.
It sucked. I'm blowing everyone away. No, I like it, and it's not because the episode was bad. It's because everything was ruined. Like Kingpin at the end. We knew that was gonna happen. The Yelena stuff was cool, but everything else was coming together the way, number one, the way I guessed it was going to play out in the beginning, that the mother was the villain. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, I was I said no spoilers. Just kidding. Spoilers. Just kidding. We're getting right into it today. Sorry.
my apologies. Okay, so I'll just cut it short and then I'll complain more later on. But it was the big reveal at the end. Everybody knew, and it's well, I already knew this. Whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I pretty much for the same reason that Alex said. We all figured this out earlier. There was kind of our kind of guesses and theories, but there were things that I liked. Some were, it was just too wordy, but I do like Yelena being Yelena. And yeah, it's right now it stands as probably my least favorite. I don't hate it, but it stands as my least favorite episode so far.
I mean, I don't feel as strongly negative about it. I actually really liked this episode. Yelena is my favorite, just in general. So more of her being her, that's gonna get, I'm gonna love it. I loved it. Any scene she's in, I'm a big fan of it. I loved it. The thing I will say, and I don't know, I'm gonna warn just our general viewers / listeners, I don't know if I can talk about this episode of Hawkeye without slightly talking about Spider-Man. So just fair warning that we may not just spoil Hawkeye for you. I could accidentally spoil Spider-Man for you. So I'm just gonna I'm throwing that out there.
We just lost so many viewers.
I'm sorry. I'm throwing that out there. Just it's one little thing that I'll just say. I think by seeing Spider-Man before seeing Hawkeye, I actually didn't get to enjoy Hawkeye as much as I could have. We'll just leave it at that as a non-spoiler thing. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with this. So a brief little I'll break it down into 3 parts of this episode. We'll talk about each part. So part 1, we get to see what happened to Yelena during the snap. She was snapped. She was one of the people that was dusted up by Thanos, and she reappears in her fellow Black Widow friend's house, and that's kind of her whole thing before being snapped was she was going to reunite with her sister, and they were going to have their Sex in the City moment in New York, and it was going to be really great. And then she returns, and we as viewers all know the fate of Natasha. So that's kind of what starts this episode. And then it kind of goes into, we had seen last episode, the breakup between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. And so Kate goes home to get her stuff from her burnt up apartment, and who is there but Yelena, ready to talk and explain kind of what her whole deal is. So we get to see them have some really kind of fun back and forth, a little witty banter situation, more Yelena being Yelena, a little bit of macaroni eating together, and that whole thing. So what did you guys think of that whole opening kind of chunk?
Yeah, I guess I can go first. The part that I really liked about this, the first part is the snap and how it happened. She was just rescuing she thought she was rescuing other Black Widows, and the scene of instantaneously just getting snapped and then coming back, which is actually kind of a thing, right? Because I think it was Peter Parker that mentioned it in Endgame, where it was then he just saw black and then he just came back and it was what's going on? So it's really cool to see that part. Although I did like the conversation that was happening with Yelena and what's her name, Kate. I thought it was too long, but it was kind of a fun conversation that needed to happen. Yelena was playing spy games or kind of just interrogating her, baiting her, even though she only wanted one question and one answer. But it was a fun scene. I thought it was too long, and yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's pretty much it's one of those things that like a lot of people rail on Marvel movies for, that it's like too jokey at the wrong time, and like it's okay that it's lighthearted, but it went really hard on the jokiness. Yeah, and I didn't like that the hot sauce thing reminded me of Hillary Clinton. Because Hillary, when she was a candidate, she was like, "Oh, I put hot sauce on my all my food. I carry it in my purse. It's like a little hot sauce. Like, oh, don't you like me? Don't you, don't I appeal to the youth?
Youth like hot sauce.
Yeah, exactly. To be, to be more specific, it's like a whole cultural thing. She was, whatever. I won't get into it. But it was really, not insincere, and like the whole Yelena thing. It's like, oh, I like macaroni out of a box, and like, yeah, all right, cool. How about something a little more substantial, for the scene, because you have Yelena. She's a great actress. What's her name? Pugh. What's her name?
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh, yes, thank you. So yeah, I don't know. It was, it didn't really do it for me. It was okay overall, but yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I don't know. It appealed to me. It worked for me. It didn't feel too long for me. I mean, I love Yelena. Anything that she does, I'm a big fan of her character. I just think she's hilarious and sassy. And I like this kind of back and forth power dynamic between the two of them, where it seems like for once, at least in that scene, Kate Bishop is actually like as afraid as she should be. Like she was actually like, oh no, you could have killed me. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll talk to you. And it was just really interesting that she would have that dynamic with somebody who's a lot closer to her age. And I don't know, there's something to that scene that really worked for me. And the macaroni thing, I thought it was hilarious. I don't know. I was honestly worried because we started with the snap, which was really awesome. And then there's that moment of like, we know that her sister's dead and like, it's really sad. I was worried it would just be too sad from her character and like, we'd see a little bit more of her like dealing with Natasha being gone. So I kind of like that we just kind of skated over that and went to like macaroni fun time, because that was what I wanted. I just wanted a little bit more fun. So it delivered in that aspect for me.
I'm just gonna say, like, I really laughed when she like fell out of the window, because it was just so funny to me. It just her just whoop, like, all right, well, well, yeah.
Just like, I'm not Claw, I can just fall out backwards through a window and it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
She's becoming the poser now that her sister is.
Yes, yes, 100%. That like made me chuckle. I don't know. I like it. So moving forward from that, we do have Kate, who was very, very, very honest with her mom about, her and Hawkeye kind of breaking up and everything that's going on there. And she at first seems like, okay, I guess I'm accepting that I'm not going to be a hero, but then just kidding, she's like, no, I am going to be a hero still. So she's calling Clint, and she actually tells her mom, Jack is a bad guy, like this is what he's up to. So we actually see her mom have Jack arrested, and there's this moment where Jack's like, I'm being framed, it's nothing to do with me, blah blah blah. And Kate's mom hugs her and kind of has this little sus look on her face, and I think as viewers we kind of know something isn't right in this situation. So we see Jack get arrested. Did you guys have thoughts about that at all?
You know what? I really like Jack now. He's a level above the tracksuit mafias. He's not like that stupid. He seems like a rich aristocrat who just, I guess, does crime because what else, if you got all the money, or if you lose all the money, you gotta. He even mentioned it. I've never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun little scene. Although I didn't really care for that scene. Didn't bring anything for me. We knew like it was probably the mom that set it up, and just Jack, you gotta be the fall guy for this so that we can get them off our tail. So yeah.
So funny thing about Jack is, and like I don't think we mentioned it in earlier reviews, that Jack is in the comics Jacques Duquesne, who is
Swordmaster,
or the swordsman. I think
swordsman or swordsmaster. One of
yeah. It goes between the two, right? So it's like a Marvel character who's friends with Hawkeye, and like I just found this out this week, or like I just remembered because the swordsman hasn't appeared in a while. So yeah, it was. I mean, it played out the way I thought it would. Like Jack did seem to be getting framed for the murder of his uncle. So yeah, I mean, it just right. Yeah, I get that. It's just like, yeah, I guess that.
That's
yeah,
it. That's
right. Yeah,
That literally to me, like that scene happened. I'm like, check, moving on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yep, okay, that's fine. It had to happen. I understand, and let's like actually move forward with the story. So moving forward with the story, we do have Hawkeye kind of getting to the end of his rope and having this moment in front of like a memorial where he's talking to dead Natasha of like, I miss you, like you were the best of us, da da da, and I'm gonna go do what I have to do. So then he calls his wife for permission to fight, I don't know, and she said, you don't need my permission, go do what you have to do. So we see him put on the Ronin suit and arrange to meet with Maya and have this showdown of sorts. So this is where we get like the action sequence of this episode where we have a Ronin versus Maya fight, where he does reveal to her that it is me, it's Hawkeye under the mask after all. And he tries to kind of explain to her what led to her father dying, which was a tip-off from an informant within their organization. And we kind of get it revealed more or less that it's probably Kazi, Dollar Store Jon Snow, who is this informant. So Maya, at the end of the fight, is very suspicious of this guy and not super trusting, and she kind of has some questions, but she's still kind of mad at Ronin and still wants to fight him. So how did that land for you guys?
Okay, so while that was happening, I think that was the main thing for like the third part, and of course Uncle. But the more that was happening, like I get it. We have the Maya and the Ronin, and he's trying to make Maya kind of think, is this what you really want to do? But while all that is happening, I was still thinking like, what is Laura? Who is Laura? That's all I was thinking of that whole time that was happening. Okay, we were thinking Mockingbird or former Black Widow agent or something. She's part of some spy thing, and while that was happening, this is all I was thinking of. So yeah, it goes to show you how much I was paying attention to that like third part or third act.
It was probably my favorite part of the episode because we got like a nice twist that it's not like groundbreaking or anything, but it was a really nice twist that Kazi is sort of behind Maya's father's death, or at least a part of it, an integral part of it, along with the uncle. Now, unfortunately, the uncle, everybody, and their parents knew, the uncle, and he was coming and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's great that the uncle's in it because he's one of my all-time favorite characters. But yeah, I mean, it's the internet's fault and it's my fault for reading all these things. But the action was really good. Choreography was cool at the end. Seeing the fighty stuff. Yeah.
I didn't like this fight at all, honestly. I was actually really underwhelmed.
All like opposites everywhere in this episode.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so on a different realm. I was underwhelmed by the hand-to-hand. Like, we'd already seen a Hawkeye versus Maya fight, which was awesome. Like, the one in the warehouse was so cool, so good. And this one felt really boring and basic in comparison to that, or in comparison to truly like any of the hand-to-hand stuff we've really seen so far. And as the penultimate episode and like the fight of Maya versus Ronin, which is like her biggest, most important fight of her life, it was kind of lackluster. Like, she got her ass beat pretty quickly and like kind of turned it around, but still kind of lost at the end. So I'd expected, honestly, like both of them to kind of come out swinging a little bit more. Like, obviously Ronin / Hawkeye isn't trying to kill her, but I thought it would have been a more dramatic fight in some way because of the like story importance of it for her as a character. So I don't know, it was disappointing to me. And Jon Snow being suspicious. I've been suspicious of this dude since day one. He has a suspicious face. So that was fine. Like, it's good to know. And it does kind of, at least for me, answer a little bit more of like how Hawkeye ended up just murdering all these people. Because maybe like this whole group wouldn't have even made it onto Ronin's radar if not for this tip off.
Yeah.
And that could have had a totally different outcome. So I think that's just kind of really interesting, because who knows what Kazi said. Like, he could have said, oh, this group does like the worst crimes, kill them, as opposed to whatever it was they're doing. I don't know. Trying to like give them a little bit of grace of like, maybe they weren't the worst criminals that deserve to die. But who knows? Because I guess we really don't know what their crimes are necessarily at this point. So, and that leads us to the big reveal, which we've already talked about, and no one was surprised. Kingpin's here. Whoa! And Kate's mom is talking to him, and they're buddies, and they were hanging out. Oh, and Kate's mom hired Yelena to kill Hawkeye. That was also part of that revelation. So I know we weren't surprised, but like, did anything surprise you, or did you feel any type of way now that you've actually been, both of you, proven right?
I was kind of surprised at the cheap voiceover, like post video voiceover of Hawkeye saying that's Kingpin. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but like, they showed Kingpin on the screen. No, before they showed Kingpin, they showed Hawkeye's reaction. He's like, yeah, that's the big guy. That's the guy I was afraid of. And then it's like, the Kingpin. I go, okay, all right, we know. And like, I love Vincent D'Onofrio, and the character's awesome. That it was like, I knew this. I don't know what I wanted, honestly, because like, I was expecting Kingpin, and I got Kingpin, and maybe in the next episode, like, it'll, like, we'll get to see more, but I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much what Alex just said. I wasn't surprised by the reveal. It was kind of cheese that the reveal took that long, like to the very end, and we only saw him on the phone. I mean, I would have loved to see a cane come in there, or just or his whole face, even just his face, and not even say anything. But we got what we got. We knew that was happening. Like Alex said, everybody in the world, including their moms, knew that this was coming. But no, yeah. Kingpin is one of the best villains in Marvel, like not just MCU, but Marvel in general, like all TV and film. So I want to see if we get that version, like that violent version that we saw in Daredevil. I'm pretty sure they're going to tone it down a bit. But no, I'm glad he's here, and I hope to see more of him for the last episode. Let's hope he does something that will carry on to somewhere. And I guess one more thing that I'm worried about is, I guess I'm going back to Maya, is that we know that there's a Echo series, and Maya hasn't really shown me anything to get excited about that series. I'm hoping that's like a fake out, that maybe it's so I'm gonna add spoilers in the description. We saw somebody in the Spider-Man movie. Maybe that series is for him or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the Echo series, because it's also Alakwa Cox's first acting gig, and I don't think she's doing bad, but I don't think she's strong enough to be leading her own series yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, that's the Spider-Man spoiler. There's a person in Spider-Man. That's it. The person in Spider-Man, kind of like, because I saw Spider-Man before I saw Hawkeye, because I was late in watching Hawkeye this week. Okay, because of the Spider-Man thing, I'm like, obviously Kingpin's here. It all makes sense. It's all coming together. It's all doing its thing that I thought it would do. So that was underwhelming, even though we guessed, and it's nice to be right. It just didn't feel like the reveal that I wanted. This character has such a large presence, like not just being a large person, but like that is a big deal. And just a little like, here he is on the screen, look, he's right there. That didn't do it for me. Like, I needed a like like slow turning reveal of the chair, kind like obviously not that, but like that degree of reveal, like it didn't feel like this reveal is rippling the MCU the way it should, if that makes sense. It felt so underwhelming. So that to me, just like the episode started at a high point, and that was like by the end of the episode, it just like was below the dirt for me. I was like, this is so disappointing. So I have really high hopes for next episode, but overall that was such a like letdown ending for me. So yeah, that's it. So big question, the big question of the episode. I don't have one. Do either of you have a big question? Like,
can Echo carry her own series? No.
I answer that.
I
don't think she can.
I don't think so either.
So okay, if I'm making up a big question, like my big question is, do you think that in the next episode we're gonna get enough Kingpin to make this reveal forgivable? Do you know what I mean?
Oh crap! I want to say. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say no, because like the main antagonist has been whoever was behind the murder in the first or second episode, and it's going to be clearly revealed to be Kate's mom, and it's going to be the fallout of that. If anything, we will get a cameo. If that, I'm sure we'll get like a little, like an audio clip of or something of Kingpin. But I do have a feeling that Hawkeye will return to his family, happy ending. I don't think Yelena is gonna pull the trigger, or like the contract might be pulled or something, because this is what I haven't said. There is much more money in doing a Thunderbolts versus Avengers movie than in having Yelena kill Hawkeye right off the bat, because like you have this tension, you have U.S. agent or John Walker versus Falcon Cap right now.
Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah.
Falcon Punch.
You might also have Abomination on this Thunderbolts team, and you have Yelena to square up against Hawkeye. So I feel like a Thunderbolts thing, there's a lot more meat on that bone.
I'm gonna be a bit. I kind of the same answer as Alex actually, but I'm more hopeful that it will make an impact in this episode. But then it's just like one episode, and then when do we have to wait till next? It's gonna be that wait again. So yeah, so hopefully makes an impact.
I'm not like, I mean, I hope it does, but I don't think it will. I don't think it'll make the impact that it needs to make it worth the wait in this case of like, who's the bad guy? Oh, it's revealed. Are they going to do much? Probably not. I think they might have actually like too many cooks in the kitchen as far as the bad guys. Like there's 3 kind of like you have quite a few antagonist type of characters, and nobody's really like landing it perfectly because no one's like that true big bad. And if he is supposed to be the big bad, such a weak reveal, he's gonna have to like do a lot in this last episode. Like he's gonna have to really come in and like shake some stuff up, like be chaotic, kill everyone. I don't know.
Snap Eleanor Bishop's neck.
Yeah, honestly though, like in order to like cement himself as like actually the thing you should like, because they really try to make it seem like he's such a big deal with like the way Hawkeye described, like this is who I was afraid it would be. That's not enough to scare me. Like we need more stakes. Like I'm sorry, you fought Thanos, who killed half the world, like half the universe, and you're scared of this guy, and you're like explicitly saying how scared you are of him. Like we need him to come and show us why we're scared of him. And if he doesn't do that, then this has been like kind of a build up for nothing. So those are my thoughts. That's the big question of the week. So I'd love to hear from whoever watches, listens. Like, what's your big question? What's your answer to our big question? How are you feeling going into the final episode of Hawkeye? Let us know everything and more in the comments below. We are still on the 1,000 subscriber journey. So, tell your friends and your family and your neighbors and your cat and dog, make extra accounts and subscribe to us. That'd be great. As always, I'm Michelle. I've been joined by Lou and Alex, and this is Lunchbox, and we will see you next time. Bye.